Welcome to our recorded clips of the Memory Mapping project. It has been an honor to interview 10 passionate, respected, dedicated, and caring leaders and educators in District 4 of retired teachers of Ontario, enseignants, enseignantes retirés de l'Ontario, RTO, ERO. Hello, bonjour, Annie. I'm Nicole McAllister, and I have been fortunate to have the privilege of interviewing some great educators in our community. I wish to acknowledge Léo Duquette, a professional from Media Concept, who helped capture the essence of our interviews. A very special thanks to Evelyn Dutrisac for her significant contribution. Many thanks to the interviewers who were kind enough to accept our invitation. Sincere gratitude also goes to RTO, ERO, and Café Heritage for making the Memory Mapping project possible. The common theme of the interviews is educate, empower, engage to make the world a better place. As you listen to the journeys of those that were interviewed, you will be inspired by their experiences, their advice to present and future generations, and their ongoing commitment to the community, even in retirement. These interviews are for everyone, whether you are a beginner or a seasoned educator. Enjoy.
The most that I cherish are, all those encounters with the students that have graduated, and I see they're successful in their careers. They have loving families. Some of the things I cherish, I've had at least 2 instances where former students have gone out of their way to call me. They live long, one lives in Quebec, they went out of their way to call me and to thank me personally for the impact I had on their life. So you can well imagine, those are very touching and moving moments that I didn't expect because they hit me out of the blue, And and also I've gone to things like reunions and to connect with students at reunions of things they remember, the gratitude they express for how, in spite of myself, maybe I did help them. Maybe they did learn something from me. And the other, I think even more than that, what I cherish is now in my role as deacon, I've had a chance to officiate at weddings of former students. I baptized children of former students, and I've even had the privilege of baptizing grandchildren of former students. Well, that takes the cake. How many former teachers can say they've done
That's
that?
amazing.
So nothing beats the cherry on top. Nothing beats that cherry.
Respect was always my rule in the classroom. I have to follow that rule. The kids have to follow that rule. Mm-hmm. Today's no different. Respect one another. Respect your the things around you. Respect nature. Respect the world in which we live. It's such a simple rule.
Yes, it is.
And there's even greater need today to follow that rule than ever. The way you talk to your parents, the way you talk to one another, with the technology, people are taking liberty to be disrespectful. But even when you're on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that, just respect one another. Say what you have to say. And sometimes it's not a positive thing, but say it with respect.
Yes.
And so that would be one rule. But the other thing for me is live every day. Make the most of it. At the end of each day, reflect and ask yourself, how did I make the world a better place?
What advice would you give to the younger generation?
The younger, be respectful with others at all times. Have compassion for other people. Be open to new learning, because the job that you will get will probably not be the job you'll have for your whole life. Mm-hmm. You might have 3, 4, 5 careers during your life. So be open to new concepts and new learning. Don't limit yourself to material things. Open your heart to the spiritual domain. It gives you inner peace. It gives you strength, energy. Make sure that you take care of your mental state, your physical state, health. Make friends with people that are strong. Make sure you choose the people you want to be with so that you can grow.
Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
Well, there's one book that really impressed me when I was doing my master's degree at Ottawa University. It's called The Human Side of Enterprise by Douglas McGregor. It's a book which is directed really to industries, but it applies to schools and boards as well. How the human side of what we do, of enterprise, of everything we do is so important.
Yes.
We tend to forget that we deal with human beings. Some have strengths, some have weaknesses. If they have weakness, we try to improve, but they're human beings, and take them where they are and make them grow.
I think the most reward was to see the students that are well, that are happy, and even the ones that school was easy or not easy. I remember a young boy that I had that was a very difficult young man, and he was in my class the next year, and I was sort of thinking, oh my gosh, that's going to be a difficult year, because he's had many difficult years, and that was grade 5. So I told him that I wanted him in my classroom. So I said, I'll ask the principal. He says, well, nobody has ever asked to have me in their classroom. I said, well, we just might have it together. It was not an easy year. And we sort of had timeout time. And then I would say, it's either you or me or has to go. And because of all the other students, you're going to have to take a break from us. And I'd invite you to come back. So we didn't have to suspend him. When he graduated, he only wanted pictures with me, and I said, but why not with your teachers and with the students? He says, Madame, I've never felt loved. All my years of schooling, you're the only one who loved me. And to me, that was very, very special.
You know, strangely enough, it was probably towards the end of my career that I actually found a quote that really meant something to me, and said, basically, that's what I've been trying to do throughout my career. And the quote was from Nelson Mandela, and I'm going to read it because I don't want to get it wrong. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And when I read that, I said, there you go, that's it. That's what I've been trying to do. And it took 20 or 22 years or whatever to sort of be able to put my finger on it and say, that's what it is. Because education, in my mind, is changing the world, one student, one kid at a time, making the world a better place, right? Mandela talks about a weapon. I mean, I think we can sort of...
I was going to ask you about that. It touches me. A weapon. What a weapon?
It's strange, I think, in a sense, because we instinctively sort of think of a weapon as a gun or whatever, but it is a force, maybe, if we want to look at it that way. And that's how I interpreted it, because it can be very sort of warlike as when we use the word weapon. But what is one of those tools? And education is a tool that you can use to change the world.
It's a powerful tool.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're going to change the world, as I say, one kid, one student at a time in your daily interactions with these students.
Don't be scared to use your voice, always in a respectful way, right? But yeah, that's really important. And it can be hard. It's easier said than done. It can be hard. So maybe find those role models and mentors that can help guide you, in difficult situations, and maybe help you to feel more confident and comfortable to use the voice. And I would also say for Indigenous students specific, I know there's a lot of youth out there that are getting involved in things and same like that I've done, like trying to move forward this work. And it is really hard, but it is really important. Not that all this should be falling obviously on our shoulders, this truth and reconciliation, right? We need the non-Indigenous people to be doing their part.
Yes.
Right? But we know that, Indigenous people, are doing a lot of work in a lot of institutions or in the community or wherever it may be. And it's important work, but it is really difficult. So my advice to the youth that are doing this work and getting involved is to, first of all, take care of yourself. Make sure you have people in your life or an elder or family members or close friends that, you can share, because it can be hard sometimes. But also I always say that our ancestors did the work to make it better for us and had a lot worse to deal with, right?
Yes.
And so now I feel, and that's why I continue doing this work, is, even though it's been really hard sometimes, and it's hard on your spirit, it's my turn, right? And I'm trying to do what I can do to make it better for the generations coming.
Well, we all have qualities. We all have a voice. And sometimes because of fear and scared of knowing who we really are, we're not taking an active role. When I meet someone, I truly believe that every person is genuine. Every person has qualities. Every person can love. I can choose to not do or to do. And I really encourage people to get to know themselves, students or at any age of life, and to have a voice and to really grow and become who they really are. And another thing is I'd encourage everybody to live in the moment. Live in the moment. The past is gone. I don't know if I'm going to be here in the future. Live in the moment.
One of the key projects that we've worked on for many years, and when I say we, I mean Rotary, not just the Rotary Club of Sudbury, but Rotary International, is the eradication of polio. So we started that project in 1985, and right now we only have two countries left, Afghanistan and Pakistan. And it's very important to us to fulfill the promise we made to the children of the world to eradicate polio. There was the Guatemala Literacy Project that was most interesting, helping those students that would not have the opportunity to learn with that literacy project. And we have many other projects that Rotary is involved in. So I've been in Rotary for 30 years.
Wow,
and
that's a long time.
Yes, I just feel that it's good to give back to the community. So through my journey as a Rotarian, I was a club president, and then I was assistant governor, and then I was district governor. And now I work at what they call zones, so it's one level up, helping clubs and districts with Rotary. And funny part is, right now I'm the learning facilitator for our district. So again, I do give quite a bit of workshops. I lead a lot of workshops and I facilitate a lot of workshops. In the world, we have 1.4 million Rotarians in over 300 clubs in over 200 countries. So Rotary is large. And the Rotary International Convention this coming June will be in Calgary. this past June 2024, it was in Singapore. So I ended up going to Singapore to the international convention. And again, it's very high level, lots of good speakers, keynote speakers, and you get to meet so many Rotarians.
I'm very fortunate that people call you and say, I'm going to go into this little business. Would you like to put some money into it, or would you like to be a part of it? Because you have a connection. And I learned to use connections. They've been very good to me all the time. I don't hesitate. Now I'm doing a lot of charity work. I don't hesitate to go to a business or to go anywhere and say, I need some help with this organization or this project or this event. How about giving a little bit of cash? And you know, I always credit myself that I've never been shut out like a goaltender. I always get something. I don't always get what I think I want, but I always get something. Yeah. And that something very often turns out that there's going to be another something down the road, because the person that helped you realizes that you're there for the right reason.
I spent an awful lot of time working and learning new software, new ways of doing things and whatnot. And one of the major challenges I found with continuing learning is like drinking out of a fire hose, because technology changes so often and so fast. Yeah. So, you know, one of the major things that we had a problem with was, you know, switching from one system to another. Like when I first started working at Laurentian, our computer systems just for the finance system was the size of 2 refrigerators. Wow. And now it's the size of a laptop computer. Basically, that's what it is.
And so, it does more.
An awful lot more, you know. Yeah. When I graduated at Laurentian from Ottawa U back in '79, the computer language I learned was Fortran, you know, with Watt 4, Watt 5, and then we got into where you had these, you know, the cards you have to fit into the system. And so we went from cradle all the way to, you know, from cradle all the way up to where we are today. And certainly there's a lot to learn.
Yes. And so lifelong learning is a must, especially in your field.
It certainly is, because it changes. It changes drastically. One other system that made us change a lot was this whole Y2K phenomenon that happened.
Oh, you know, yes, like I remember.
All of the computer systems didn't think they'd ever get into the 20th century, you know, and so we had a lot of challenges trying to adapt to that, you know. I think people, one of the major things that I found that people coming in sometimes thought that they knew a lot, and it's all theory, it's not practice. So, you know, to the younger generations, listen, ask questions, and communicate.